that was always set on the sofa table, and I plugged in the extension cord to an outlet that was in the middle of the hallway near the kitchen. I made sure to tape the cord to the wall so that my little brothers wouldn't get tangled up in it, and the last thing I wanted to be was in a dark closet. I would push the bulk of the clothes that were on the hangers to the far left and create a little nest for myself with my mother's throw pillows. It was my great escape. It was my safe closet, the place where I would visit another land. And today, it was going to be Dorothy in the land of Oz. Just as I was reading the first few chapters of the book, I heard my mother screaming, "No, Eddie, no!" And when I peered outside, my stepfather was over her, with a heel in his hand, hitting her on the head, calling her a puta for wearing high heels. The heck was going on this time? I couldn't even get a break to read. After hitting her and leaving her on the kitchen floor crying, he went to the bathroom and started showering. When the coast was clear, I casually walked over and put on her shoes, pretending they were ruby slippers, just like the ones Dorothy found. And just like Dorothy, I was going to triumph over this evil force in my house. My little heart was calcified and indifferent to the scene, and it was not the first time, nor the last. With a single objective in mind, I asked my mother for us to leave and to go to Theo, my uncle, and Minio's house. It was not the first time we had gone there to escape my stepfather's drunken rages. She quickly grabbed her purse and threw a few things in a bag as she grabbed my baby brother, Freddie, and I held on to my little brother's hand and quickly let him out. I told him that we were going to see Theo, our uncle. My brother Ralphie was happy, and he adored Theo so much. He was tall, and every time he lifted us up high, close to the ceiling, it would give us butterflies, and we would giggle. We loved him so much, and especially his laugh. I couldn't believe it. My mother actually agreed to leave that mean, angry troll behind. We quickly walked to the train, and it seemed so dark outside. I was a little scared that the troll would find out we had left and he would beat up Mommy in the middle of the street. I kept looking back, praying that he was not coming. And finally we got to the train station and we boarded the number 6 train. It was only a few stops away from where we lived off the Brook Avenue train station, which was a very dangerous area. The people around there walked and looked so different. They looked like any minute they were about to slip into some kind of deep sleep, but their bodies disobeyed as they fought in their zombie-like trance with pools of drool on the sides of their mouths. Their drool in a suspended state, just like their lives on pause. It terrified me. But I pushed through and pretended not to care because soon we would get to Theo's building and I would be able to read. The steps to his room on the 3rd floor were so dark and steep. I saw needles scattered everywhere. And as I tried to pick one up, my mother slapped it out of my hand. My uncle lived in a boarding house where the tenants shared a kitchen and a bathroom, and they were all men, living in furnished rooms, which consisted of a full-size bed, a dresser, and a chair. Now, my uncle had crammed a little sofa in the room because the last time we were there, he let us all sleep on the bed, and he slept on the floor. This time, he would sleep on the sofa, and my dear mother and her little chicks would sleep on his bed. I remember feeling sorry for my uncle when he was giving up his bed, but he looked so happy to have us there. He was usually alone and quite disheveled. What I didn't know at the time was that my uncle suffered from mental illness. My mother called him nervioso, nervous, but it felt that it was more than that. I would watch his hands as he would do things around the house. When he would visit us, they were always shaking. It usually was more pervasive when we would come into the house and he would reach for a beer from a brown paper bag that he would bring in with him. The beer didn't scare me the way it would with my saw it on my stepfather's hands. He was always so kind to me. And then there were times I wished he was my father. Tío Herminio looked like a Borinquen Indio from Puerto Rico with jet black hair and bronze skin. He was over 6 feet tall and to me seemed like a giant. I felt that there was my mother's defender. Because every time he was around, my stepfather would never behave the way he usually did. I noticed that my stepfather respected him, and I wished that Tío Herminio could live with us so that my stepfather would behave all the time. Well, the next morning, I followed my mother to the bathroom, and after what happened to me with the neighbor, I never felt comfortable being alone with a man again. I was always by my mother's side, and she grabbed some cleaning products to disinfect the bathroom. It was a miracle to see how she scrubbed the dirty tub and made it look brand new. And she mopped the bathroom and kitchen floor, and it smelled like pine sol. After that, she told us to take turns bathing. After I finished, I helped bathe both of my little brothers in the tub. And while I was washing them with the door wide open, I noticed a man with a slow, creepy gait coming towards the bathroom. He looked like one of the zombies that I had seen outside when we were walking to the building. Now, this strange man didn't even notice we were in the bathroom, and at that moment, he tried to use the toilet. I screamed, and that is when he walked out of the bathroom, and my mother cursed him out in Spanish, and my uncle got in his face, but to no avail. He had no visible reaction to this huge intrusion. It was like yelling at a wall. Now for the rest of the day, we stayed in the room. I stuck my nose in my book, devouring every sentence of The Wizard of Oz. I was going to be Dorothy, but in my world, there were no flying monkeys, just scary men creeping down the hall. The next day, my mother called her cousin Isabella, who had just moved a few blocks away from our apartment on Stratford. She asked if we can stay with her, and she agreed for us to come. We took the train back to the neighborhood, and I was so scared that Bobby would see us walking to her house. Thankfully, it was a quick walk from the train station, so we made it without running into him. We stayed in Isabella's house for a few days, and I was very disappointed to miss school. I missed Miss Keene. I missed her smell. I missed her. But with this book, I didn't care. They all disappeared as I entered the world of the stories I was reading. I was grateful. I loved Miss Keene. I wanted to go back home so that I could go back to school. There was a light at the end of the tunnel. And on Tuesday night, my stepfather showed up at Isabella's house. He didn't look angry. He looked very remorseful as he cried in front of Isabella that he didn't want to lose his family, and he begged my mother to forgive him. I sighed and felt relief. There's no place like home. I didn't care that Papi would hit on Mommy. I wanted to go back home. It was in this turbulent moment that I transformed into a mind traveler like Dorothy and be both physically and mentally escaped to the land of Oz. I learned to be like that Tin Man and function without a heart, because the mind was going to take me places, and I just had to remember my ruby slippers.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I wish that we can somehow say that we have managed balance because of that dysfunction. I fell into a relationship that was not physically abusive, but very emotionally and financially abusive. And then I tried love again. Now, this guy, he was a creative, he was phenomenal, handy, and living another life that I didn't discover until I went into a drawer and found something that I shouldn't have found. But he introduced me to this world of adventure. I already had it in me. I loved riding motorcycles, and I was riding a crotch rocket. I know, don't judge me. It was a Ninja, then after that, a Yamaha YZF. What I didn't know is that all that trauma screwed up my brain. That frontal lobe that gauges risk was off. And so, relationship, adventure, going. Crazy task, do it. And I didn't know how to register risk until something clicked one day and I decided to leave. But I was in a lot of pain after that breakup. And I started to delve into poetry. And so after completing my memoir, I decided to, you know how at the end of a book they say, oh, what happened? You know, like an update. So I decided to do an epilogue, a poetic prose. So part of my healing occurred by writing poetry, and during the pandemic at that, I had the great fortune of performing these two poems at the open mic night at the New York Poets Cafe, which is ironically 3 blocks away from where I lived as an infant in Alphabet City. It was a way for me to really come back full circle. A poet sharing her pain, her journey, and her healing. So the title of the poem that I want to share is called Roar. Roar. Such a distinctive sound. Low vibration, deep-throated. Oh, the sympathetic roar of the Harley engine. The first time I heard it, it was when he rolled up to my place, a little cottage in the back roads of a sleepy Connecticut hamlet. I heard him less than a mile away. It was like a tap to my soul. Such a distinctive sound compared to that beefy Yamaha YZF I used to ride, or the one I was riding for about 2 years. Well, right after my upgrade from my black Ninja, ooh, crotch rockets. His Harley Deluxe excited me. It shifted a slack gear in my soul from neutral to 5th gear, revving me up. Here I was thinking we were riding our own, but his intention was to pick me up and tell me to ride, bitch. Wow. Ooh. But you know, I resisted, proudly declaring that I ride my own. But he insisted, said that there would be no turning back after this ride. Enticed, exhilarated, teased. Ooh. Yes, I straddled my passenger seat and I snuck close and I submitted and held on for dear life. Now, down those windy scenic roads that make you feel like you never want to get off, enjoying the moment you are breathing in the same air, the same wind, filling the space in your being where your soul seeks another. that is when I realized I want him, and I was coveting his Harley. Enjoying the moment you are breathing in the same wind. And after a year of dating, we were still breathing the same wind. I bought my first Harley, a Sportster, and I never looked back. And after a year of dating, I brought my first Harley Sportster, wondering, can I be a pretty badass? Now, little did I know that I was a badass. I was with a badass, all right, that rode high. Now, he was placing my life in danger. My guardian angels were working triple time every time I was his passenger. And 4 years later, after sharing the same home, I discovered his truth. And I begged him to get help. And he clung to his lifestyle and rode out like a bat out of hell. So I did what I needed to do, biding my time until he decided to leave the place that we called home. And I came back to fulfill my legal obligation. I would be back one more year in the space where the ugly truth was revealed, walking into rooms with flashbacks, walking downstairs with echoing memories of angry words exchanged. And outside, on the driveway, my Harley remained, covered under the blanket of flashbacks, pain, and loss. I lost interest and just didn't want to look at her. One day, I shook off the post-traumatic stress, dusted her off, and named her Raven. Turned on the ignition, and there he was. The plug firing sequencing, the Harley heartbeat echoing in my brain's trauma cells. How do I release it? I became nauseous before mounting my Raven. Self-talk was my gas. Push through the headache and pull back on that throttle. Push through the heart palpitations, and I sped off. Damn it! I'm not giving up my Sportster. I have to ride free, enjoy some wind therapy, to heal from the deception and disappointment. And that is when I decided I was going to superimpose my riding memories over his, created by this heartless Harley rider. And one morning, I heard his bike. Thought I was losing my mind. What do I need to do to erase this sound from my trauma memory cells? Then one night, I heard his bike, and I looked out the window. He was driving onto the driveway right next to me. What was he doing there? Here I was, living alone, walking through this damn haunted house, and now I have to contend with this sight and sound? The hell is he doing there? Oh, hell to the no. Now my fight and flight instinct vacillated within my shaky breaths. Which one would take over? The fight or the flight? Shit, I kicked it into high gear and put on my riding chaps. That's right, folks. I put on my riding boots, my riding jacket, slapping on my red lipstick because this mofo was not going to see me busted. And I turned on my Raven, and I warmed her up, revved her up, vroom, vroom, vroom. Used my heel to kick up that kickstand, and I sped off, showing him I still ride. He didn't take that away from me. When I got back, I saw that his bike was gone. Thought perhaps he was visiting the old neighbor. However, 2 weeks later, I figured out that the mofo moved next door.
Yeah.
Renting the house from the neighbor who lived abroad. And now I had to hear that damn sound every time he took off and came home from work. It was a living hell. Really? Really? How the hell did he decide to move next door to me? And with a persistent spirit, I was digging my riding boots in the ground because I was not leaving. Hell no. You must go. And thankfully, the pandemic came. A moving truck came, and I saw him roll away on his bike. And that is when my true healing started. Next, my moving truck came. I moved. I overcame. Now, I upgraded to a road king. I call her La Reina. And this chick will never ride bitch again, 'cause I ride my own. I ride free, writing about my Harley trauma, and I am in my own zone. So, in 19 weeks, I ran away and I moved to Connecticut, and now I continued living life. And I'm embarrassed to say that was 5 years ago. You can still hear the sting in my voice. But I am retiring, and I have a new dream. And my new dream is to take all the proceeds of the Heart of an Advocate that I'm selling, and I've created a publishing house idea. That house my mother never got to run away from, to go to from my stepfather, never happened, never was completed, but her daughter is going to complete it. And that's my goal, to open up that publishing house. So ultimately, in July of 2024, I'm going to retire from teaching in New York. And my dream to open up a publishing house there and begin making So Alta, my retirement home, will be waiting for me in the tropical island breeze. It's going to be called La Casa de Maria Press, my mother's name. And it will be a future site to invite other writers for their writing retreats. There, they will be greeted by bomba dancers from Loaiza, Puerto Rico, to spiritually cleanse the ground and space for their future writing. And dancing to the rhythm of the drums and the writer's heart, stories will come forth and leap onto the page. There they will be able to pen their pain. There they will be able to pen their passions. And there they will be able to pen their personal promise. This humble servant will cook some of the recipes that my beloved Mother Maria showed me how to cook. The recipes of love, perseverance, grace, and compassion. And with the vegetables and organic food grown in the backyard, La Casa de Maria Press writers will be nurtured and fed nutritious soul food, stirring hearts and stirring souls. And Instagram will be flooded with these hashtags, as well as with images of women finding their voice in so many different places on the island. Because my goal is to coordinate special writing excursions on the island. And one of them will be on a little boat that I purchased called the SS Luz. And Captain Vilma Luz will dock and leave port from Puerto Chico. And recently I've learned that my name means determined light. Shining bright and bold, the SS Luz will lead the way for our future writers. And the future writers of La Casa de Maria will be able to publish their pieces from the writing that they've harvested in my little writing retreats. And there they will be able to go to the tropical rainforest of El Yunque and write about their dreams, because our Taino people were the first storytellers. Time to crack open the genetic code of storytellers. Writers will be able to visit the San Juan Fort El Morro and fortify their spirits, writing about their futures. My future published writers will write about their setbacks and learn about themselves as human beings breaking through to the other side. La Casa de Maria will be the place where I will live the dream that my beloved mother was not able to live. And every mother's dream is for their daughter to feel freer than she did at her age. And at the age of 55, my mother's dream was to go to her secret retreat in her ancestral home. Now this did not happen, so I will go in her stead. La hija Vilma Luz estará soñando en la Casa de Maria. Thank you for giving me this beautiful space. And what a bonus to be able to get a grant from Poets and Writers. Oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you, Art in the Basin. Thank you, Bronx Memoir Project. Thank you, Ron, for introducing me to this. Thank you, this beautiful audience who held space with me. I felt you lifting me up. And thank you for our audience at home.
Vilma, everybody. How about another round? Geez, wow. What a great reading. Oh. Mark's here. Ron, Mark, good to see you. Determined Light. Love that. We've heard a lot of heart and a lot of advocacy here. Here tonight. Hopefully you appreciated that. We're here every other Tuesday. We will be here again in 2 weeks, which would be something like the 24th? Is that correct? 20th. Okay, yeah. You know, I'm a word person, not a math person. So, you know. And it's Susan Layton, right? Is it Susan Layton? Yeah. Ann Layton. Okay. Oh, that's you. Oh, wow. Welcome. All right. I haven't met you before. Okay. I should have written that down. Wow. Geez. Yikes. Man, is my face like really red right now? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you. Anyway, come back in a couple of weeks and hear Ann. Hopefully you'll hear a little bit from her tonight yet. Are you on the list? Oh, not tonight? Okay. Well, I'm going to hold it all for 2 weeks from tonight. Great. All right. Well, thank you for coming out tonight. Thank everybody else for coming out tonight. Thank everybody on Zoom for tuning in tonight. We have an open mic, as always, a hybrid open mic. We have people on Zoom, or a couple of people on Zoom, it looks like. Hopefully we'll hear from them in a moment. And I do mean here, we working on the sound here that I get everybody in the room to hear. But anyway, let's see, who do we have here? I'm just going to go through the list. This is on Zoom. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Heather, are you on the list? Okay, let's bring Heather up. Everybody, Heather.
everything takes a little more time for me these days.
Heather's been a featured reader for us at least once, maybe more, and always a loyal supporter of the series. So we
Here many times.
thank her for very much. I guess, are you back from St. Kitts?
Well, I'm here.
Okay.
They're all confused as to where I actually live.
Heather,
I
on your
can't
mic
find my
stand.
poem. Just a minute. I had it when I first said it, but it disappeared somewhat. And I have everybody else's poem here but mine. I'm sorry. Gee. Okay, let me go somewhere else for it. Sorry. I did everything today and I printed it, but the printer didn't work too well. Just give me a minute. I have to go somewhere else. That's not the one I want. I'm sorry. I was dreading this, you know? Yeah, just. Okay, maybe that wasn't the poem I was supposed to read. Oh no, I can't find the one I want. I'll get this one instead. So, in St. Kitts, we have in Bastia, which is the capital, we have a clock. You know, I will describe it to you. I have to download the whole thing again. Sorry guys. A minute, give me a minute. Because I can't read it like this. It's so weird what happened. Because right there I was looking at it. Okay. All right. Oh, I know I can't download it because I don't have. Shoot. That's what it is. I don't have data on this phone. Oh my God. Just give me a minute. Anybody else wants to read? Because I can't stand here very long.
Do you want to come back?
Yeah, I have to figure out how to get it up.
Okay, good.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's gonna be a mic stand.
What's that?
It's gonna be the mic stand.
Oh, all right, all right. All right. Well, thank you, Heather. See you hopefully in a couple of weeks. Let's see here. I want to make sure I have everybody on the list. Ron Mark, are you nothing tonight? Okay. Anybody else want to read who's not on the list? You're on the list. Okay, you're on the list.
I'll do something.
Okay, let's hear from you. All right. Yeah. Why not?
You're on the list.
You're on
He's on the list.
We'll get to you.
It's over to y'all.
Don't worry.
Actually, wait, give me a second.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to find
Okay.
find the,
It's like technology, right? I mean, it's like supposed to help us, but you know, it's like, yeah, I know. It's just like, let's see. I can tell you a little bit as far as technology goes. We're on like all kinds of social media that you can join and be our friend or be a subscriber or what have you. We're on YouTube. In fact, this reading will be on YouTube sometime a little later, maybe tomorrow. I don't know what the turnaround is. Instantly. Well, we're actually live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube world. But it also will be available as a video. But we're Art in the Basin on YouTube, so look for us and become a subscriber. And we're on Instagram at Art in the Basin. And finally, we're on Facebook at AITB-Art in the Basin. So within those couple of three places, you'll always know what we're doing. We'll be back in another couple of weeks. We're still looking for it.
yeah, I think it's something I wrote like a while ago, and I edited it recently, so I'm
Okay.
trying to find where it is.
Well, let me also mention, Vilma mentioned it as well. Oh, are you, do you want to read something? Or come up and do something? All right, why don't you come up while she's looking? Tell us who you are. Joe Ken. Okay. You're holding the mic?
Yeah,
It's actually,
I'll be your mic
do I
stand.
hold this?
I'll be your mic stand. You want to hold it?
No, I mean,
You
I
just have to
can.
cup it.
So hold it like this.
Yeah.
This is actually a song. It's actually a rap song. I'm a rapper. And I thought it was like a comedy thing today, but I'm gonna do like a rap song. I'll just read it as a poem. Let's see how it goes. The goal is to have no goal. Move with ease and play mode like you're 5 years old. Get hurt, release tears, and right after let it go. Then B will bring smiles and release of the soul. Seems like as we're getting old, everything we want to hold. Time, people, and possessions, even if they fill with mold, even if they black the joy, as long as they support the show. So we show out. If we show what's within, I just find out it's the best route. Whether on bench to a mansion or on foot to a small house, good friends and a lot of laughter. All else can come after. Pray for peace as we learn to vibrate faster. Pray for our health in this life and ones after. Cause after all is said, I'll get up on my head. Make sure the love is unconditionally said. Hardly done, easily said. Easy saying that you got me, but I'm really hard to get. You speak flesh, I speak soul, making it hard to connect. Wondering which one of our languages is one that is correct. I think either one is wrong when it's leaving out the rest, cause at best, words are just utterances, and life should be more about the feeling and experiences. It's what love really is. But we made it 4 letters, diamonds and teddy bears. Anything to masquerade the fact that we don't really care. And the chocolate is so sweet, but y'all sour. Praying on the weak for more, praying on your knees for higher power, then praying on the weak for more power. Can hear the love you preaching because your actions are much louder. Please shut the fuck up. The higher I revolve, the more I feel alone. And I don't mean more lonely, I mean all one. Sometimes an L in some space is all that you need. Sometimes an L in some space is all that you need to broaden the narrow perspectives of the me. Walking with pain by the hand, cause see wisdom waiting for us on the other end. Fear screaming, be careful. Just trying to be helpful. I reply, fear, thank you. Make sure that he's feeling all this love too. Through my infinite canon, third person, watching self move. Switching up what comes first could switch the whole mood. Love, joy, and truth are all part of the same crew. They rendezvous at the place with the vast view. Where all are welcome, so please, my love, come through. We only have one rule and it's simple. Just be you. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Wow. We do occasionally have comedy. We've featured comedians here, sometimes during the open mic and sometimes it's an actual feature. So do come back if you're up for comedy, or just come back and do some songs. Oh, okay. All right. We're good over here. So let's turn it over. Just tell everybody who you are.
Hello, I can hold it, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta cup it. Gotta cup it. All right. I gotta cup it. All right. Hello, I am Claudia Toth. I usually do stand up when I'm here, but I don't have any stand up today. Today I've got a couple of poems. They are still works in progress, but I think they should be presentable for other humans. So here we go. This first one was actually inspired by an art installation I saw that was just a video of a man painting a room a different color every day. So here's this one. It doesn't have a title yet. I watch as a man paints the room. One brush in the paint can, gently wiping off the excess, adding stain where none had been before, covering up what had been bare. It takes focus, takes work to apply the coats evenly. No drip marks like scabs coming off the skin, no brush strokes visible like scratches, scrapes. Certainly no drops on the floor, on the molding that would shout imperfections and be seen from a distance to all with eyes. No, it takes care to paint one pure, flat coat. Let it dry. It takes time. Paint another coat. It takes tender care to transform a room, make it what it was not. It takes tender, loving care. But at the end, the room will be painted as though that is what it has always been. I have a second one. This one is called Friday Evening Rush Hour. This one was inspired by me coming home from work and seeing a man just take out his laptop in the middle of the subway station. The throngs of workers delivered from the skyscrapers of their bosses flood the subway entrance. Through the gates they go, one by one by one by one by one. Off to the side, I see a man in a suit, down on one knee, laptop propped up on the other. If I were a photographer and an asshole, I would have taken a photo, hung it in a gallery, and titled it Worship. That is all for me.
Thank you, Claudia. Welcome back. Great to see you again. I have to confess, I'm like kind of a photographer and an asshole. I'm sorry. I don't take random pictures of people. I tend to take, landscape pictures, but, Anyway, Heather's ready. Heather's coming back up. Everybody welcome Heather.
I'm mortified. Anyway, it seems as if this is a poem that I'm supposed to read because I can't get the other one. And I wrote this. What am I supposed to do? Hold the ball. I don't have much experience on the balls. I was talking about the circus clock in Bastille, St. Kitts. And we like to think of it as our little Big Ben, or Little Ben, I guess. It's right at the center of town. And if you live there, it's like that marker in your life. There's something you know. So my sister called me one day and said, "Did you ever write a poem about the circus clock?" I said, because she's working with the National Trust or whatever, the archives, whatever that is, whatever name they give it. And I said, well, if I write a poem about the circus clock, it wouldn't be a poem that you'd want to publish. Because I'm not going to say how great it is to have this circus clock. Because even though it's there and it never bothers me, it's just something that I don't, it's something from Britain. And anyway, the circus clock in Bastille, St. Kitts. It could be that when the Venerable Mr. Berkeley, owner of Fountain Estate, gifted the circus clock in St. Kitts to St. Kitts Island, whose soil had enriched him long before his birth, he did a noble thing. What a masterful way to give back so generously, to gift this gift that would lift the face of a small island colony and this newly acquired town with its French name, Pasteur. Maybe, now my eyes are failing, it seems. Maybe it was his love of his native land to create a smaller London with a copycat clock in the heart of the capital. Something to show visitors entering this causeway from the sea that this little mother island colony meant business. Surely this launching pad of British foreign might deserved so rich a monument. And how grand, you see, I'm afraid to touch it because it might go away like it did the last time. And how grand to serve this, oh Lord, to carve this monument, to grace the memory of his forebears and the pride of his lineage. Complete with the family crest, with the family coat of arms, a monument designed to inspire awe and mystery from those who pass by. Or perhaps this act was simply one of gracious humility, unconscious altruism, if such there be, a monument to beautify, to keep and defend by those who would inherit it. But who would inherit it? Did Mr. Berkeley peek through? Did Mr. Berkeley peek through the rings of time to discern the faces of his beneficiaries? I wonder if he had ever glimpsed in the weary eyes of laborers at Fountain or any of the other estates his family owned, that therein lay seeds of a nation who will cherish this gift long before they knew its veiled significance. And even after learning, will look beyond its complicated past to separate the giver from the gift and cherish it and own it. Thank you. I'm sorry. Something Billy didn't want me to do.
Oh, thank you, Heather. Wow. Complicated past indeed. I love that line, unconscious altruism, right? I was like, yeah. How ironic. What an ironic statement, man. It's like, yikes. Anywho, let's see who else is here. We have Abby. Abby, we've not seen Abby for a while, but Abby's back. Okay. You want
I'd like to not hold it because I might have to actually.
Fantastic.
Hold on a second. Here we go. This is called Sleepless Night. Here I lie snug in bed, should be sleeping, but instead, useless thoughts roll round my head. Like tomorrow's menu, what will it be? What's in the fridge, I'll have to see. Or where on earth should I travel next? Maybe Asia would be best. Or lists of things I ought to do, shopping, laundry, clean my room. Do I need to know this now? Surely not, but somehow my mind is stuck inside this loop, and how to exit, I've no clue. I toss, I turn, I count my breaths, but not long after I begin, another useless thought creeps in. Sleeping pills I will not use, likewise I will not drink booze. So what's to do? Guided meditation? Full of hopeful anticipation, I tried that once, but to no avail. Like everything else, even that failed. And so I've come to accept my fate. Clearly, I'll still be awake long after I have gone to bed. So I've decided that instead of chasing sleep while lying down, I'll stay up and walk around. It might help and it might not, but something to lose I haven't got. So wish me luck, the race is on, sleep's way ahead, but I'll carry on. If nothing else, I am quite sure that as long as I endure, exhaustion will surely be my friend and help me catch sleep in the end.
Thank you, Abby. That was pretty much a biography of me. I don't know, it's like, I have like useless thoughts kicking around my head, keeping me up all night, and my dentist of all people told me that I should have a sleep study done. He said I grind my teeth. I'm like, oh yeah? He said, yeah, should have a sleep study done. I'm like, okay, I will work. I'll look into that. Anyway, thank you, Abby. As always, great to see you. Let's bring up Adam.
How on earth do I compete with everybody's stories tonight? I ask your forgiveness. I'm bringing us back to New Year's Eve. I was going to do this 4 weeks ago, which was right after New Year's Eve, but we got rained out, and then we weren't here last time. So most New Year's Eve stories typically revolve, depending on the age, on some form of inebriation. It could be your choice these days, whatever's legal, lots of times what's not legal. Then we try to tie this with, well, it's Christmas time, it's birthday time, giving gifts. Well, I'll put these two together to say that my wife and I have stopped giving each other gifts, and we give each other experiences. And they're not experiences that you get with Delta Airlines miles. They're experiences that we experience and that we bring on ourselves. This particular experience on New Year's Eve was the Metropolitan Opera. Now, there is no finer place to people watch. There is no finer place to people listen. The voices are languages from around the world, and wow, these people, do they dress. We've been to the opera before. And this particular production, this New Year's Eve, was Carmen. Now, that happens to be one of the most popular operas in the world. It didn't start out that way. And I've seen it a number of times. In fact, Barbara and I saw it once. There are a number of cities that have great opera houses. We're blessed with the Metropolitan Opera. There's the Paris Opera, Vienna Opera House, so on and so forth, Covent Garden. Well, Barbara and I were once in Vienna, and not really being familiar with the language, Barbara was very kind and got tickets to see Carmen. Well, there's the Vienna Opera, and then there's the Volksopera. Now, if you know any German, Volks is peoples, like Volkswagen. You've never lived until you've seen Carmen sung in German. The language is French. It doesn't work. So it just did not work. Oh, the first opera I ever saw was my father took the whole family to see Carmen at the Met. So this was a new production. So here we are, grab a bite to eat beforehand. But part of the experience of the opera is you go, it's ridiculously priced. It's people dress ridiculously. Everything you touch is ridiculously priced, and they can't get enough of it. So the typical thing that I would do was go get a glass of champagne, except Barbara and I had dinner, and I had enough wine that I didn't need champagne. So I go up, sweetheart, what would you like? Oh, some, fizzy water. Okay. So we're standing at the edge of a floor and looking down into this very, very steep atrium. And the people watching is wonderful. The problem with the atrium, and the problem with the way it's set up, is that there's no flat ledge. You have to sort of built at an angle. So if you have a cup of water, a bottle of water, you put it up there thinking that it's flat, which is exactly what my wife did. Only it's not flat, and there it goes. Thankfully, it was only water, fizzy water. Seemingly out of nowhere, people spring up. Are you okay? Can I get you something? Would you like some of this? Gentleman turns to me and goes, I'd offer her something, but I think that was water, and I'm drinking scotch. I said, no, my wife doesn't drink scotch. She doesn't drink. The people watching again, the clothing, it's like you're watching a runway show in Fashion Week in Paris. The women are wearing these outrageous outfits. The men are wearing monkey suits, tuxedos. And it's just, again, remarkable. The water spills. A woman that we had noticed in a dress that looks like it just came from Milan or Florence or the Fashion Week in Paris comes over. Hi, can I help you? Anything wrong here? Yeah, she spilled something. I got it, don't worry. She had actually grabbed my man bag from behind, so I didn't know if somebody was actually lifting my wallet or gonna help us, and she did. She turned around. She said, let me help you. She goes over to the bar. What were you drinking? Well, she comes back, and then she introduces herself. She's the liaison for the benefactors of the Metropolitan Opera. Now, we go to the Metropolitan Opera once every couple of years. What she's catering to are the people whose names are etched in marble on the walls. That's not us. But she said, I'm here to help you. So were the other people. Out of the blue, it's as if you fell down on the subway. People pop up and help you. That's why we love New York.
Wow, thank you, Adam. Wow. I'm always blown away by your stories. I just like, man, you have the most interesting life, I must say. Jesus. I mean, I'm like, I just like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. See you again, Joanne. Yeah, I mean, I just, walk to the park and I'm like, yeah, I live, but nothing like that. What can I say? Barbara, did you want to do anything? Not tonight? Okay. No Barbara tonight. Before we switch to Zoom, we have a couple people on Zoom. Anybody else want to jump in who's here in the room? Wait, Ann. Okay, Ann will be here in 2 weeks.
Teaser. I love to write my. Thank you so much. And remember the actual mic. Is that right? This is old school radio. Oh. Oh, hold up. This is very special. This is like old school.
It's also on his last leg, so. Feel free to donate to Art in the Basement.
I will. Thank you for having me. And I'm very grateful to meet you and be here. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you all. I love writing about music and dealing with things that I deal with, a lot of emotional and trauma. And I was so grateful to your reading because yes, my sister, thank you very much. Thank you too. And what you're doing for writers, thank you for that. You're making the world a better place. I saw Respect, the movie, the Aretha Franklin story with Jennifer Hudson, and felt it. There was one scene, Our Mother's Prayer, Respect, the movie and me. That was the scene at the piano. Jennifer Hudson as Aretha and Audra McDonald, her mother from Beyond. Aretha was a natural mom to Jennifer and Music Girls. I think of the roles my mom played with me. I had needs, and sometimes darkness replaces losses. When we couldn't mother our hurters, the folks we wanted as special friends were dead ends. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna master the mic.
Yeah. I'm an awesome mic holder, so.
The crazy thing about this mic, and those of you who come here regularly know this already, this mic is purely for the online crowd on Zoom. This is not, of course, anything that's being amplified in the room. You're not hearing my voice through some speaker from this mic, right? It's, anyway, we've always been known as the open mic without a mic, except nowadays we do have a mic for the Zoom crowd. Anyhow, we'll have you back in 2 weeks. Hear more from Ann. Let me tell you a little bit more. It's already February, and pretty soon it'll be already April. April will be our 7th anniversary. Believe it or not, we've been here at Art in the Basin and Montmore Coffee and Wine for almost 7 years, just 7 years. A lot of special people will be reading that month. We have Shelley Coleman, comedian, Scarlett Gomez, the Bronx Poet Laureate, Kay Bell will be here. And yours truly will do a reading of other things that I personally have written and not have, read other people's work, when I usually introduce these things. So anyway, do check us out. We'll have announcements for March and our events there as well. Let me go online here, and I see Ted. Ted, you have something you want to share with us?
Well, if you'd like, I have a poem. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I have a poem that I've never read before. I'd like to give it a try. Uh, Several months ago, someone that I was very close to passed after a very protracted illness. And he was a very healthy man. He was actually a pro basketball player at one point in his life. And he was always like the biggest, most powerful guy. And he contracted this disease that paralyzed him for almost a year. Where he was in bed and he literally could not do anything but blink his eyes. So after one visit, I couldn't do too many visits. It was too tough. I wrote this poem and I call it Job's Tears. Am I fortune's fool? Why then me, God? Why then me? My damaged brain has become a closet filled with confusion. The world I believed to be endless in scope is now but a shrinking room where I am held prisoner. Why then, Lord? Why me? I no longer know how long I've been here. It seems like an eternity. My memories, they are slowly being erased. But that is simply another cross that I must bear. People come to visit me, my family, my friends, and at first they lifted me. Their prayers spurred my hopes, my desire to heal. I would be that miracle that all the world would wonder at. Who had a stronger body, a sharper will than I? God does. God has chosen to turn me into a pillar of salt. I can no longer move. I can no longer speak. I can only pray that he releases me from my bondage and takes me to him. I am a man like any other. There have been good deeds and bad. Then why, Lord? Why? Why me? Why am I being slowly erased? Why is death delayed for me? Here I lay in this hospital bed, alone, afraid, and I cannot even wipe the tears from my eyes.
I guess I can be heard, I hope, online. Thank you so much, Ted. God, that was moving. Pillar of salt, Jesus. Wow. Don't dissolve on us, Ted. I guess we'll conclude with, and they waited very patiently, as they always do, because we always like to put them on last because they just really uplift everybody, before they leave. The Elegant Ivory Duo. Give us a second to set up the sound. Whoop. Whoop.
Okay, we're going to do something a little different tonight. We're each going to read a short poem and then we're going to perform something. Elizabeth's going to start.
I have a very, very short poem.
We're here for you.
I'm going to be also using this for incidental music. It's a little sultry or zither. Springtime steals in. Springtime steals in, surreptitiously on tiptoe. Her filmy negligee rustling in the gentle breeze, still infused with winter's chill. Where her soft kiss lands, shy snowdrops and bolder crocuses open their petals in the sunlight, melting ice and snow surrounding them. Thank you.
I love Elizabeth's natural stuff, natural poetry. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote earlier this month. And it's kind of autobiographical, but it applies to a lot of people. It's called Crunch Time. Popcorn, trail mix, pumpkin seeds, pickles, apples, fresh snap peas, carrots, corn nuts, M&Ms, hard biscotti now and then, cukes and chips. Hard pretzel, hot pizza crust, thick hard pretzels, how we lust. Espresso beans, crisp crackers too. Cheerios, charred barbecue. Celery sticks can cast a spell. Taco shells you crunch mach schnell. Candied almonds, burnt spaghetti. Broccoli, peanuts don't forget. You crunch so hard you crack the tooth. The dentist x-ray told the truth. You'll need a crown. And there's more, pal, you'll also need a root canal. And as for ice cubes, don't you crunch. You might just miss more weeks of lunch. Before I get over to the piano, I'll just, a big shout out to Abby Turner, who's there, but had clued us in about this wonderful event. And tonight is probably one of the best ones that I've heard. Great writing it tonight, folks. Should all be congratulated. So I'm going to head over the piano. This is the first movement of something that I call the Tutti Frutti Sonatina. In the past, I've played the third movement with Elizabeth. She's going to help out in the first movement.
Mm-hmm. Still getting over the flu and COVID-19 at the same time. Oh, probably JN1 variant and flu type B, which is more severe. Thank you.
Am I on? I'm good, right? The Elegant Ivory Duo, everybody, and Elizabeth, the expert whistler. Geez, I heard the Bonanza theme, the Captain Kangaroo theme, and My Three Sons theme, amongst other classical tunes that tops and pops. Thank you, as always, for appearing tonight. Love the poem, love the whistling, love the zither. Anyhow, it is, I guess, time to wrap things up. And as always, we have our benediction that we'd like to conclude the evening with. And Vilma has graciously agreed to sort of lead us in that. And so I will bring her back.
Well, thank you for having me back again. First, I want to definitely take a moment to recognize the wonderful poetry created by our very own Amy Joy. Great job, Amy. And it's part of The Purest Kind, a collection of love poems. And I have the great honor of trying to put my own little flavor on this great piece of writing. So Tim, you also were a part of editing this, so this was very nice to see. What a lovely collaboration you both have. The title is called Lead Love. Love, love at the helm. Take me to an unseen realm. In it, I'll dwell under sacred spell, waving until your gaze sets still. Love, lead the way. Lead the way, lead the way. Thank you, Amy, for that beautiful piece with my little twist to it. So with that, I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this great experience, for once again giving me this opportunity and the great honor of closing with Amy Joy's poetry. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vilma Luz Caban, right? And Tim W. Brown, right? What an awesome host. Let's hear it up for Tim. Come on, let's give it up. All right, well, on that note, we usually end on 3 words. If you've been here before, you know what they are. If you haven't, ask somebody. No, I'm kidding. The words are let love lead. So on toi, we're going to say let love lead. Okay, on deux, toi, let love lead. All right, but if you're here with me in 2024, you're going to lead. Let love. All right, let's do it on toi. On deux, toi, lead, let love. That's right. Lead with love and let that love in and out. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming out.